Hey, Happy New Year. Welcome to the first Riding Shotgun with Tupper of 2019. And if you look closely, you notice I'm not wearing a seatbelt, and that is because we're not moving. we're just sitting here. It is wet out here on the farm. We had a bunch of rain, and it's just too muddy to really go anywhere. And so I think somebody suggested on Twitter that we do sitting shotgun with Tupper or something like that, and I thought, yeah, that's probably what we're going to have to do. So that's what we're doing today on this Friday, January the 4th, and it's kind of hard to sync up the dates when to do them. You know, I used to say every Tuesday, and you know, you got a game on a Wednesday, you hate to post something that's only timely for a short time and then becomes obsolete after the next game. So I thought, well, I'll wait till after the Indiana game and I'll post something. And so that's what we've done. And Indiana beat the Illini 73-65 last night over in Bloomington. This is a confounding team. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. The Florida Atlantic game, it's probably just as well I didn't have a riding shotgun the day after that. Holy cow, people were angry, and understandably so. That's just a game you can't lose. Not at home, not against that team, not against that team when they're shorthanded. It's just crazy. But they played better last night. Played really well in some stretches, and really poorly in some stretches. And that's the confounding thing. You know, they're up and down. They're here and there, and kind of all over the place. But a great start to the game. I thought they played great. They moved the ball. They got shots. They made shots. They were up 25-15, I believe it was, and then Indiana got its defense organized, and they started doing the one thing that Illinois is particularly not very good at, and that is defending around the rim. And they attack the rim, and they have the perfect player to do it. Romeo Langford's a great player. Love him. One of the best freshmen in the country. Can get to the rim whenever he wants, can elevate over you, has a great knack for banking the ball in, gets to the free throw line. Not so sure about his shot, although I know he hit one last night. But his driving, penetrating game is just great, and Illinois was really exposed there. And then at the same time, Illinois' offense just stopped getting shots, period. Would they have 6 shot clock violations, 19 turnovers? A lot of those turnovers were forced passes late in the shot clock when they were trying to find somebody who was open to get a shot. You know, and I mentioned Langford. Indiana had the 2 best players on the floor, I thought, in Langford and Juwan Morgan, who's a senior who's gotten better every year, really active on the glass, and can put the ball on the floor and move around when he needs to as well. Ayo had 20 points last night, and he's starting to round into shape. I like a lot of the things I'm seeing from Ayo. Best game from Georgi Bashanishvili last night in a long time. 18 points, 7 boards. Played really well, and caused Indiana some problems. Battled, fought. I liked all of that. I think I'm most disappointed right now, and I don't understand what's going on with Trent Frazier, and what I have mentioned before, and what I see as a reluctance to shoot the ball, long stretches where he's not aggressive, going to his shot, and you know, he can do that jab step inside and then step back behind the 3 and hit that shot. You know, he hit a couple late. I think he ended up with 11 points, but I just don't know what I'm seeing there. And at you know, they really needed more from Trent on a night when Kipper gives you 2 and AJ gives you 2. You know, that's just not enough. And I like the fight, and they fought back late, and they got the score at 62-58, and then Indiana attacked and finished the game, and I get that. Certainly an improvement from what we saw against Florida Atlantic, but the choppy nature of it still is just, it makes you nuts. And they go to Northwestern on Sunday for a noon game, a little little appetizer before the Bears playoff game at 3:40. Football last night, some good news. Shimon Cooper, the linebacker from St. Louis Trinity, committed during the Under Armour All-American game on ESPN2. That is a great get for Lovey, a 4-star linebacker who had offers from Oklahoma and Texas and Missouri and Florida State, and you know, a good player who had played for Corey Patterson. You know, I'm excited about the quality of recruits Lovey's getting. You know, I've mentioned that I want to see some quantity with that, but with the transfers they're getting, and we're all waiting to see what happens with Luke Ford, the Georgia tight end from Carterville, who is thinking about transferring in order to get back to the state of Illinois to get closer to his grandfather, who's ill and with whom he is very close. But if you get after the signing day, you get Shimon Cooper and you get Jeff Thomas from Miami, and you were to get Luke Ford, you know, on top of some of the speed guys that they got on signing day, you know, that's when you start to see some pieces fall into the puzzle here that can really make a difference. And I'm happy for Lovey that their hard work on those relationships has paid off. We got to see what happens now with basketball recruiting, because there was some buzz coming out of Champaign on the same day Illinois laid an egg against Florida Atlantic. Kofi Cockburn was there and may have told the coaches something very positive about his intentions. I can't let myself get excited about him, as good as he is. This is a 5-star kid, 6'10", 285 maybe. Kansas involved with him would really be a difference maker on the front line, along with Antoine January, who they signed previously, a 4-star kid, in Georgie and Samba Kane. But that's when now Romeo Langford doesn't move so easily to the basket. But we will see. I can't allow myself to get too excited until there's a signing. You know, we've been through this before. There may be more visits coming up for him, and let's wait and see what happens. We're also watching to see what happens with Abu Kijab, the 6'6", 6'7" wing from Oregon, who is transferring, and a guy who considered Illinois heavily before committing to Oregon. And we'll see. But this was a slow-moving class coming together. If it were to be Kofi Cockburn, Antoine January, Abu Kijab, that would be a pretty nice class. And so we'll see what goes on there. There's, you know, we went through a period where all the transfers were guys on their way out the door in football and basketball. And now we may be into a period where the transfers are more guys coming through the door, and that would be nice. So we'll see what happens there. But anyhow, hope you had a great holiday. We sure did out here on the farm. It was wonderful. And things dry up a little bit. We'll get moving around again. And I know I'm being way too optimistic when I tell you this, but I'm looking around thinking, it's not that long until things start to green up a little bit. And we start to talk about getting some crops in the ground. It's a little long. But January is a long month, man. My wife thinks January is the longest month of the year in terms of, not just in days, it's obviously it's a long month there, but in terms of just the wear and tear on you coming off of the holidays, it just seems like it's a hard month to get through. Looking at the weather forecast here, though, I don't see any snow in the forecast through the projections, which take us out to like the 18th. I was looking this morning. Everything's pretty warm. Obviously, all that can change, but man, it would be, when you get through half of January and no snow, that's a victory. Then you start working on the second half, and I know we got to get through February, and there's always some snow in March, but we'll see. But so we will shoot for, I'll post something on Twitter about when the next one will be. You know, maybe, I can't even remember which day of the week the Michigan game is. After Northwestern on Sunday, Michigan comes to Champaign. All they are is unbeaten and ranked second in the country. They're awesome. But, you know, that's the way it is. It's a tough start to the conference schedule. There's no doubt about that. But we'll get something posted and let you know when that's going on. One final thing, I wrote about this morning. This has nothing to do with the University of Illinois, but a great sports figure in our community in Decatur and in the world of fast-pitch softball throughout the world. Passed away Wednesday night, and that is David Scott, a pitcher for Decatur ADM and Decatur Pride teams. Just a remarkable talent and a remarkable human being, really a great guy, and just 62 years old. Really heartbreaking for those of us who knew David, and I'm sure that some of you do as well. I've already heard from people all over the country and from New Zealand and Canada, and who are just really saddened by that loss, but just passing it along in case there's some of you who have paid attention to fast pitch over the years that didn't hear that David Scott passed away this week. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Appreciate it a lot. We'll talk to you next week. So long.